Welcome everyone to the 305th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's January 4th, I think. Yeah, January 4th. How did we pass a year? Did that happen?
It's been
Yep.
almost like we've streamed. We haven't streamed since last year. Yeah.
It's been a full year. It's been a really long drought. Well, we've lost a few in the partying, it seems. We're short a few of the old members, but there's a few of the new folks here. As always, there's Alley Claw hanging around.
Hello. You can't get rid of me.
No, she's full time here. This is her new job, being a critiquer.
I wish I got paid for this. That would be fabulous.
We got a Len joining us again,
Hello.
and we got a Vex joining us again.
Howdy.
And interestingly, they both submitted art. So instead of choosing their art first, we're actually going to choose optimistic naysayers.
Makes sense.
First come, first serve.
So naysayer, feel free to unmute yourself for this section. We're doing your picture first.
Muted.
Do you have any questions particular about your picture?
Pretty much everything that I have is in the chat box.
Okay, so you made this around October of last year, so
Yeah.
a good few months ago. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Any reason why you've brought it up again rather than just calling it done a few months ago and moving on to another one?
Because I feel it I wouldn't say so. I just thought that this, like I said, it was like the best representation of my level.
All right. Are you still
I'm not necessarily planning on revising it or redoing it.
Are you still working on new pictures, like anything new in the pipe, or is this just like the last picture you've made and you're thinking some point down the future
I'm
you might make
I'm doing other pictures, yes.
All right. So generally what we'd like to see is if you're submitting pictures, we'd like to see what's more representative of where you are right now. As in, what are you working on right now that you have problems with? Because what you might think was a problem from this one has already been fixed or resolved or is now not an issue or is still maybe a lingering issue but will show up better in a newer picture. But for this time, we're okay with this one. No need to dig through your collection. But just for future ones.
The thing is, I really don't actually draw all that often. I the pro and I the I don't know how I put this. I just feel like I'm stalling in my development. That's
So
all.
I think you might have just said why you'd be stalling though. So the best way to get better at any art is actually make art. You gotta put the time in to get anything out.
I mean, I keep on hearing that, but that doesn't help me.
I think it does. Then the reason I say that is because if you aren't spending the time actually creating something, you have nothing to learn.
Well, maybe you should just maybe I should just withdraw my thing and not waste your time.
No, we can still critique this. I'm just trying to give you suggestions based on where you're at and what we're hearing from you at this point. If what I'm telling you is you got to make art to keep improving.
Okay, well, this is not going to be for me then. So just go on to something else.
All right then. Sorry about that.
Hey, Pixie.
Hello.
Why, hello there.
Hey, Pix.
It's we do streams now, don't we?
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah, I know. We haven't streamed since last year, so it's easy to forget.
Okay.
All
I
right,
should
Len.
get onto my real computer then.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you in a bit then. Len, your picture.
Yes.
This utterly awesome dash. Any questions in particular on this one for us before we get into it?
I don't remember what I said on it. Wait.
Oh, and while we're waiting, we also have another submission in the voice chat.
Oh, sure. I'll grab it in a moment.
So yeah, it was more of like design stuff. Because I wasn't sure about all the feathers and how gray it was, but I don't know if I should be questioning that because her name is literally Grayscale now.
Huh. I mean, I don't see any issue. It's grayscale. It's not the normal dash I'd expect, but it works very well. And a little bit of pop and color is always great. Gotta have your extra. What's the flare?
Okay.
One second, sorry. Just copying over this other image.
Just kind of messing around with the gradient around the hooves just because you kind of have the same thing going on with the hairs, so might tie it together to do a bit of a gradient on the hooves as well. You don't have to, but that's just kind of something I was messing around with there.
It's kind of fun. I like that personally.
Mm-hmm. Was there something in particular bugging you about the piece? Like,
Honestly, I have a hard time still figuring out like the problems within my pieces, so I usually ask for whatever, and even if I don't necessarily think that it's right for my piece, I'm still gonna take it and like, I don't know.
I hear you.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
I saw a lot of talk about the hair strands, and honestly, I liked the first couple of pieces of advice they gave. I'm not really sure about the later ones that came, but the way you have your hairlines going seems to be making right here the source when it actually looks like over here is the source of the hair. So that's okay. Like, just try to keep in mind where the hair is coming from, and that'll help you like figure out where those lines are going. So instead of having it, because the way they are now makes it sort of look like it's coming down and up. So yeah, I just do it more like that to make those hair strands make sense.
Yeah. I still have a bit of trouble with like hair shape.
Yeah, no worries. Like I was pretty impressed to see that you'd like done a little bit more detail in this piece. So, I'm not expecting perfection the first time you try it. I'm just pointing out right there. That's kind of what you want to keep in mind if you're going to do hair details like that.
Yeah.
You just keep in mind where the source is coming from.
I'm really proud of the tail though.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's
so
goofy.
so one thing I'm noticing about this, and I did make a offhand comment before the stream, the wing. Right now, it appears as though it's one wing, and I think that's because we have no indication of that there's any overlap there. There is this black line that coasts down. Pen, are you with me? Pen? Okay, my pen failed. Oh, my entire tablet just gave up on me. Okay, well that's fine. There's this line here, right? That's the mouse line. There's the the line there that flows with the wing that appears to be some type of separation, but because the fact that they're the same color and that's a pretty thin line with no other indication of overlap, it makes it look like just one body. I I think my way of solving that would either be taking the wing and tucking the tail between both parts, or tucking another element between it just to show that there is an area between there. Because right now you've taken her wing and folded it over her back, which seems unnatural for those joints. I don't think they're supposed to be able to flap that quite that high, but also not a bird
Ah, I
expert.
didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of the placement of where you put the wing, because she's sort of tilted towards us, but the wing makes it look like it's a side view, maybe a slightly tilted side view. So
Yeah.
like her first wing joint's there, her second one would probably be over here. So
Mhm.
to
Oh.
move the wing over here a little bit, that might clear it up a bit. I don't know why I got rid of that. There we go. Just to kind of follow that form there.
And I'll pull a quick zom and just say, don't forget the other ear. With them being so tall, they'd probably both be visible. Just a small thing.
I happened to make the ear like more this way, or I don't remember, but it was hiding behind the hair. I think it's just a problem with like the way that I made the under sketch though.
Fair enough.
Now, if you look at this picture, you can see the good drawing all around here. Okay? Good picture. I like it. I love the all the differences between all this sort of stuff.
The feathers were both fun and very painful to make.
Mm. It does feel a little bit interesting how you've got the feathers here sort of going up, and then these cutting down. So it might be good to either have this area sort of come up with these greys, or do something similar where you have you have this like middle line here to sort of show that these are feathers. Just could be interesting to have just like a couple of those there, just to show that like these are like
Also feathers.
things going down, rather than like a weird skin condition. But now it's good.
You got any other follow-up questions there?
I think that's good.
Awesome. Draw more horse.
I shall.
Sweet.
I like the really different like line colors up here. It looks really interesting and cool. Sure.
Yeah, I can't like put line colors everywhere because it looks weird with my like really small lines.
Mm.
So I put them like only where it matters.
Wow, they look pretty good.
Well, thank you.
You've done a good job with them.
Where that matters everywhere on the painting. I mean, it's Rainbow Dash, right? Everything is color. All right, let's go on to our next horse then. And then we'll do Zeros. Let me just get Zeros on here. Oh, come on.
Heck yeah.
Oh, are we doing mine or are we doing the next one in line?
We're doing yours and then Zeros.
Okay,
I'm just pasting Zeros right now.
got it.
I see. Oh, goodbye, Vex Horse. Oh, there we
No
go.
Back to
more.
back buff.
All right. We got a horse up here, down here. It's your turn.
My turn. So, just one thing, I cannot for the life of me figure out how to do these like fluffy areas around the legs, especially interacting with the shoe armor he has on. I've been messing for it for so long. But like the physics of how it would look. I want it to be a little bit longer than it is right now, but I couldn't get it through my head to get it even this short, so any suggestions would be helpful.
You almost feel like, so if I'm thinking logistically about putting on a shoe where my hair is, like where long strands of hair are, I feel like it'd very much have a very parted feel to it. Like right now it feels like it's leaking out of the shoe, but I almost feel like it'd want to pull to the back like a ponytail. Not that they'd be in a ponytail, but like the whole shoe would cup it, like the way it slides in and kind of push everything to flow out
Okay.
more like
Oh.
not uniformly, but just pushes it, it gathers it to the back.
It almost turns it into a high heel that way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I draw a hoof really quick. Okay, just very basic generic hoof with, okay, we'll throw the armor on. And it's got a little, it's like a full shoe, right? Like it grips the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good hoof.
It's just, basic idea. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the hair would just want to be pulled and come out almost straight from the back because that type of hair usually does tend to gather all to one area. It doesn't so much want to like lean out the side. It more just wants to come out and over from where it's like pushed to.
Even if it's like affected by gravity like the one up here.
Yeah, like I think it'll cut like come out up and behind because okay, let's think in this hoof area, the line about where we'll get the hairs to start going, it comes down in a swoop usually. So the hairs don't like start up here, they start from the swoop, they get long towards the bottom, so you can just have them come out. This is just my interpretation as I'm thinking through it, so feel free to completely ignore, but I think it would be less drooping over the side and more just pulled to the back. That elegance. It depends ultimately how long you want to make it.
Yeah.
Let me pull up a reference of a horse. That would
You,
be short.
you can see whoever's drawing sort of these ones back here, how it like
Mhm.
kind of like comes up and over,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
what I was
really
looking
interesting.
at, the going like that.
Yeah, strange and cool.
We've lost Allie, rest in peace.
I'm just looking for
Yep.
references.
Yep.
Just
Oh,
currently
okay.
looking for, cute little fluffy things, apparently.
Listen, like horse fetlocks, there's so many variety. Like you can go
Yeah.
insane.
Mm.
I like these. They're like giant boots of fetlocks. Look at these fetlock boots. I love them.
What?
Hold on.
Look at this thing. Bye.
Look at them.
Yeah.
Like big old boots.
Oof.
Boots.
Okay, fair. Yeah. I feel like those wouldn't be compliant in most restaurants. Do you have to, like, have a hairnet for them?
They pull them back in ponytails.
Does this armor match something from the show, or is this kind of custom?
Nah. I just sort of put something on there. I
Hell
wasn't
yeah.
really using anything.
It
In
does
that
remind me
case,
of a front piece that Sombra had. Like his armor went
Yeah,
the arrow went the other direction on it,
it's
but
kind of similar. Like I can see. I wasn't like directly looking at that, but yeah, I'm sure I got inspiration from it somewhere.
I'll fix the colors here for you.
No, leave him alone. It's not Sombra.
I think it because this is like some custom hoof armor stuff, you can kind of mess about with it and maybe cut like little holes in it, but and see how that affects kind of the overall shape of things. I don't know.
Not that Sombra, no.
Yeah, we agree. He's Sombra's dad.
Who looks nothing like him except that he's buff. Has long
Yeah.
hair and is a Pegasus.
Totally the same. Listen, the
Mhm.
cakes had, their incident. Yeah, I don't know.
Headlocks.
I would just have it tuck out the back more than the side. And you could even like start like now that I'm looking at actual fetlocks, they kind of when they're this long, they kind of come down the whole hoof. So if you want to make them nice and long,
Mhm.
have them start up higher, or at least incorporate them more into the full thing like a boot.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep messing with it.
I believe in you.
Heck
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'm excited. It's always fun to see all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, congratulations on becoming Canadian, Allie. I heard a boot.
Thank you, thank you. It's always been my dream. Growing up in America.
You just
Thank
heard
you for
free
freedom.
healthcare and went, yeah, okay. I don't have to go that far. I don't have to cross an ocean. Nice.
Hell yeah.
All right, Zara, what do you got for us here,
Hello.
bud?
Faces. That's the thing that's been bugging me for the last couple of weeks.
Cool.
I'm really happy with Twilight's there, but Sunsets on the left is and the last couple of faces I've been drawing in the voice chat there, they're just not coming out the way I want them to. And I don't know why.
Faces are hard.
They are.
Mm. I think whenever I'm having trouble with faces, what I do is simplify, simplify, simplify. Take them down to the most basic kind of form. Just like, here's a face. There. You've got the nose, eyes, mouth. And then try to get that to a point where it looks okay. And then chuck all the sort of features and all that kind of weird stuff on top. Because there's a whole bunch of reasons why the face can look not as correct as it should be.
I've been doing sort of the Loomis method is kind of what I've been doing. Fluttershy's in the voice chat there, I feel like came out really well, but the other two just look off on the right.
Mm.
So I think it might be I'm struggling with how to draw the nose properly. But I don't know.
Yeah, it can be the nose. With those two on the right, it could be like the alignment of the eyes
Mm-hmm.
and all that kind of weird stuff. We've got someone doing a great job of doing all that stuff.
But they messed up the line there.
But yeah, because it's a face, it's like, it can be big changes needed, or it can be like, move this line a millimeter and then it looks fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel when I draw hands.
Hands are getting a little bit better.
That's good.
I'm feeling happier about them.
If you're happy and you know it, clap the hands you just drew.
Christ,
You're welcome. That's my that's my contribution to this conversation.
never change.
Yeah, because I think the hand holding the clipboard, I think I messed up. I think I got the thumb on the wrong side.
Yeah. Ah, well. They
Yeah,
got a
oh well.
hand transplant. It's fine.
Yeah, also the cheekbone I'm seeing, I think I'm either making it too wide from the face or I'm not including it enough. That might be another thing that... Love the eyebrows there.
Thank you.
My stream's a little bit delayed. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Getting some neck
I think-
stuff too.
Yeah, I think two really important things to keep in mind is let me okay. The eye that's closest to us is always going to be a bit bigger, a bit wider than the one that's far away. And the alignment of the two eyes is the most important thing ever. Like over here, both these eyes are roughly the same sort of kind of width. Whereas I'd probably say that this one might be a bit shorter in this kind of direction. And if I look, I can see that this eye looks a little bit higher than this one.
Yeah, just slightly. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't see Twilight if you're
Oh.
drawn on Twilight over there.
Oh no, that's what I was just looking at. Twilight
Okay.
being like, the eyes are a bit closer.
Yeah. I'm really happy with how that Twilight came out, though.
Yeah, that looks good.
What's the scoring system up in the top left-hand corner here?
Oh, I had done a poll on a couple of the MLP servers on which one to draw, and Twilight had the most votes.
All right.
Apparently, the drawing school has a preference for Fluttershy.
I wouldn't imagine where that comes from.
Not at all. Not at all. Yellow Pony being our mascot, yep.
Definitely not Fluffy's Eye making 6 different accounts just to vote for it.
I believe it.
Yeah. These Vex is going off. So I'll just mention a little.
I am not
things.
the best at anatomy, so take this with a grain of salt. But
Yeah, these sort of neck muscle line things, they're always going to point towards sort of the center point, which is why in the red line, these two have kind of redirected a little bit more towards that.
Yeah,
all that weird stuff.
I think at some point when I was drawing that, I ended up moving where the center of the chest was and forgot to change where those lines pointed to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. Now all good. Yeah, that point of like the part that's closest to us or sort of facing more towards us is going to be bigger. It applies in a lot of places around the body. It's like, this shoulder by default is going to be a little bit bigger because it's kind of like more facing us, and this one is going to be a tiny bit shorter than that one, and all that kind of weird stuff. It's why when I'm doing life drawing stuff, one of the bits of advice one of the other artists give me is draw what's closest to you first, because then you're not going to mess up sort of the size of it by comparing it to other things. You're just going to, get it there as big as it needs to be, and then everything else can kind of fall into place around it. So that helps me. But yeah. Look at this amazing drawing in the corner. Gosh.
Look at this photograph. Wait.
Look at this graph.
They did the monster math.
Yeah,
It was a graveyard giraffe.
yeah. Dang humans, how do they work?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, could
Yeah.
not tell you.
Yep.
Emotionally, physically, just add it all to the list.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, shall we move on to our next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, just look at that. Look at that. Amazing.
I want to draw like that one day.
Mm,
Too
Look.
good. Look at these
Same.
pros.
6 years.
I gotta
Thank you
draw
very
more
much.
full bodies.
mm.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. And even for Naysayer, who was in earlier, I'd like to thank you anyway for them.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Have a
Cheers.
good one.
See ya.
All right. Our next picture up is middle center-ish. It's the yellow horse. It is by a drawing owl. Attempted a dynamic action pose. The idea is to have her jumping up while throwing a snowball. Not sure how well I managed it. Anyone else have any tips on drawing dynamic ponies?
Gotta say, love
So-
that you're pushing yourself to draw
Hell
the
yeah,
dynamic poses.
I saw this pop through and I was like, ooh, fun. I like it. The important thing with a pose like this is figuring out which bits are in front of which bits. And it's hard to sort of figure out. But if I was taking on this pose as a bit of a thing, you saw someone do this sort of shape. You've got boom and boom. That's sort of the center line of the body. And around here, what you're going to see is kind of this, and then that area, and then something like this. And then this part is going to sort of come up towards the camera. Cool stuff. Add the cloven hoof there just because insane. And there, something, I don't know, kind of roughly sort of ish like that sort of thing.
I'd open up the other hoof as well. Instead of turning it in, I'd turn it out. It just gives it a little bit more of an open expression. And since, like, she's kind of facing this way, her body's also looking like it's twisting that way as well. So this leg would be poking out a little. It would be poking out instead of going in. She's like jumping up.
Yeah, it's hard to sort of work out bits of anatomy when like it's all going in different directions and all that kind of sort of stuff. But I think you're definitely sort of on the right direction there. And it's really cool to sort of see you messing about with the different shapes and different poses and all that kind of sort of fun stuff. What you've got up here with these hooves is you've got like a direction to them. So boom, we can see that this hoof is poking this way. Cool stuff. Up here, it's hard to do it with this hoof because it's coming directly towards us. You can think of it kind of like in this sort of a shape-ish sort of thing. Like the part that's the direction that we're going is going to like poke out a bit. But down here, you can also do it. You can see this red line, how it's like, you know, adding this very definite direction to everything. With the original way that this is facing, you could just do something like, I don't know, what have I done? There we go. Something like that to sort of show that it's going that direction or whatever. But yeah, thinking about the directionality of your hooves will always sort of add that little extra special thing that makes your sort of pose more readable. Look at this. Look at this. Good simplification around here.
Half of the time I just redraw the pose because I need to practice posing more.
Well, it's a good show. A good show off of the. I don't know.
So I'm looking at the arms and trying to get a twist in the body, like trying to make my body mimic that without annoying the neighbors beneath me. And what I'm seeing out of the arms is like if you're to finish a throw, generally your arm's not like limp. You've just snapped essentially to finish that extension. Like I mean, if you're listening to this, throw right now. Even just mimic throwing something. That last moment of your arm when you release that, it's snapping out, right? Because you want it as far away, transfer as much energy out. So I would try and almost lock the joints together in a straight line. Because it hasn't gone elastic quite yet. We're just at the end of that where the snowball's leaving. If you want to show that it's getting further and further away, then start doing more of that elastic flex to it where the entire body starts relaxing after that. Because everything is getting tense when you're winding up that throw.
Mm.
And I see a lot of it in the legs, how they're twisted up in that. It gives the tension of that.
You can see how you've got this like big, long, flowy curve and all that sort of stuff. And that's really super cool. But like when you're chucking stuff, it's gonna be a lot of hard weird edges. So you can go straight, or you can go like boom and then curving around like they've just let it go and it's like flying off in the distance or whatever. But yeah, not as many big soft flowing curves around here, unfortunately.
With the way whoever just did that hoof over there where it tilted in towards the center of the chest, that one interests me because like if you're to think about how the normal movement would work, right? Like a day by day movement, you'd want to sort of imply that that's part of that movement. So it'd make a lot more sense if it's an up down instead of a left right. But it's also a cartoon about colorful horses. That might be a bit too much into the weeds there.
If you want good reference on this, look up YouTube videos of people chucking things. Just people chucking things. And then the cool thing is you can pause it halfway through when they're chucking it, and then you have reference of people throwing things. If you just like look up stock photos of people throwing things, a lot of the time you'll get like these people who are just like get into this pose and then pretend they're halfway through throwing something and then like stand there for 10 seconds while the photo's taken. But like going onto YouTube and just like seeing people doing the action and then pausing it halfway through will give you like a good view of how that action looks when it's actually like halfway through being done. But yeah, good job. Cool drawing up here. You can see kind of the expression going on and how they're holding stuff there and all that kind of stuff.
All right, shall we move on to our next horse?
Heck yeah. Are we doing that one?
No. We've already talked with them.
Oh, okay, cool.
So this next one is by Spinal Splat. Finally made a persona that reflects actual changes in my life. Party hat emoji. I don't see...
No specific critique?
Heck yeah.
No specific critique listed, or no questions asked.
Is this them?
I assume
No.
so.
Yes?
No.
Yes.
Because they said it was like something to reflect their experiences. Oh, goodbye, Aggie. Ooh,
Goodbye, Aggie.
it just reset on me, so give me a second.
Yeah, I know
Ooh.
when that happens. It's like, I know. What the heck?
I can't undo it. There we go.
Can't be certain. Is that the name, or is that interesting? Wonder if that's a place or like their username out of Reddit.
That seems to be a place.
Yeah, that would make sense. But let's talk about the horse.
I like horses.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. Sometimes.
So one thing I do notice about this one is the fact it's missing opposite legs, opposite ear. Basically, we only got half the horse. That is actually okay to sort of do sometimes as a reference to sort of split stuff off, as long as it's listed that this is like explicitly not showing the other half sort of deal. I've seen some people do it where they basically showed this is the left half, this is the right half, and it's just because there's certain markings that might not appear every time.
Hell yeah. It's a good horse.
I do love this tail style. Look at those fluffy fetlocks. So fluffy.
Oh yeah, fluffy. Fluffy and cool shapes. I like it.
I would definitely push if you're feeling so inclined, doing a bit of overlap with the mane. So if you're to just overlap it a little bit with that horn, because we can already see it's a fairly long mane. We got it streaking all the way down the side, and it flicks out well past the horn on the other side of the face. So even just doing a bit of overlap and implying that, I don't know, bangs are pushed off to one side, or that it's actually more of the mohawk style rather than the regular hairstyle. Just a bit of overlap helps give a bit more shape to the top of that head.
You can have like a little bit of stuff going on. Like if you look at some of the ponies, what they have is around this sort of neck area. They'll have like a bunch of hair like almost pulled back or going back from there, which is really interesting. You can experiment with like a lot of interesting, fun styles. Yeah, just a little bit more bulk will probably help it kind of help the hair feel a little bit more full. Look at that stuff. Damn. I talk about things and then someone comes in and just draws it perfectly. I'm happy. You can see what people have done with this sort of body here. This line is kind of smoothly going down there, and then it'll sort of continue to be smooth up into here. Whenever I'm drawing the body part, I tend to think of like a big wing shape, something like that, and then I cut off the end there. But that's just me. But yeah, it's good to keep the sort of smoothness going through here. Whenever I'm drawing horses, I tend to bring these parts a little bit closer together and have a little bit of like this sort of a shape for sort of the rump there. But that's just me. Feel free to go anywhere you want with that.
All right, shall we move on to our next horse?
Heck yeah. Good horse. Feel free to share more stuff with us. I'm super excited.
Oh no, they're having a snowball fight above a pony.
Oh no. Oh. Brilliant.
All right. Our next horse is down bottom left.
Yeah.
We got
And
one
M
submitted
chucked us
by
something.
yeah. We'll add theirs to the list. They normally don't hop on the stream to listen.
Hell yeah.
So this one is by Monica Suki. Yes, Monica Suki. My MLP OC Apple Bloom, daughter of Apple Bloom, and my very first MLP OC.
Apple Blossom.
Apple Blossom. Holy cow. My
They did the
MLP
same
OC
thing.
Apple Blossom, daughter of Apple Bloom, and my very first MLP OC. Yeah, this face is very Apple Bloom. Like, what
Alright.
the frig?
So you need to give them muscles.
Oh no.
Vex, you take over.
All right, here we go.
I like it.
Very simplified. Like,
I think looking at kind of other places where you could use these like tiny itty bitty little outlines could be cool. Yeah, just
Definitely do
tiny
one
little bit
here.
for the ears.
Draw ears. I don't know how to draw ears from this angle. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll do two different types of ears. That's a good.
The options.
Oh yeah, I like the whoever did that with the hooves.
Yeah.
I'd probably add that to the arm too. Just be like, what?
I'm on the wrong drawing. That's why nobody's making sense. Okay. There we go. God. I love these shapes though. They're very cute. The simplicity of it.
Mm-hmm. It would work very well as an emote.
Where all of these little lines that we're adding would be completely lost.
Exactly.
Would make the muzzle color a little bit darker just to have it poke out a bit more, because it's kind of hard to see otherwise when you're like looking at it from a bit of a distance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe add a little nostril just to really put out there that this is a nose and not just the line on
Yeah.
the face.
Tiny little nostril there does stuff.
Not just like a weird smile. Hello.
You can I'm messing about with this like color in the main. Just adding like these tiny little bits that kind of illustrate the form and all that kind of sort of stuff. Which you can take or leave, or you can do whatever you want with. I think it's just fun to kind of show off a little bit more, sort of the structure of everything. Because you don't need much to sort of illustrate the form. Just like little tiny places where you sort of show off what's overlapping what and what's in front and what's behind and kind of all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'd be really curious if you end up submitting to the Reddit again for more critique. I'd love to know what style you kind of want to aim for so we can better help you out here.
Yeah, if you've got like any people in mind for your style or
Like if you want to go more detailed or you want to have this like silhouetted, I guess what would be the best way to describe it? Like a paper craft, like the cut papers that you stack on top of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be right.
Yeah.
and then you add the 6-pack.
All right. Because there's a 6-pack being added to this one. Moving on to our next picture.
Great picture. I really love this style. Love it. Please submit to us more with questions and stuff.
Oh, we forgot the colorful horse right under this one. So we got the blue horse, candy pop.
Cotton candy.
This is by Big Mac Whopper Humber. Uh, here's the last update. I decided to make a ship OC. Party favor X Pinkie Pie. Tell me what you think below. What a fun idea.
Others.
Also, I don't know why, but like the square eyes with the like just as a character flavor thing would be on point for a character this jacked up on sugar.
Mm.
Because at a certain point, your blood must start crystallizing, and I think that might show through the eyes.
They say that if you stare at a TV too long, your eyes will go square. Maybe she's just been looking at screens and TVs too long.
Oh, okay.
Too many computer games. Gosh, these dang kids.
Get off my lawn.
Now, looking at all the work you posted to our subreddit, which is absolutely wonderful, I think the thing I almost want to push you to do is go ahead and draw the rest of the body. You seem to always cut it off right at the center there. Don't be afraid to push yourself to get that full body in there. You get all the good practice in, and then just think you can draw all the full ponies, get their fluffy tails, and you won't have anything cut off.
Heck yeah.
All right. Do we want to move on to our next one?
Yep. Good horse.
Keep
Good
it up.
horse, keep it up.
Please keep drawing and submitting and asking questions.
Questions are the important part.
Hell yeah.
So I got another horse to throw in here, and I'm not quite sure where to put it.
There you go.
Boom. Space.
Okay. I was wondering if the abs were going to allow it.
Let's we don't need to add the actual picture. Let's just redraw it. Okay,
right.
there we go.
All right, so embroidered equations, throwing this in the stream mainly for the shading, but also particularly for the bulk of the mane. I'm not sure if I accidentally made it go against the actual shape of her head to make it seem more square or not. Also, light sources are her left eye and the power symbol on her back left leg. Also, the square on her face is supposed to be contact, taking the idea from cats with a sticky note stuck to their face. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So shading looks great. The one thing that's making this mass of the head look strange is on this you've got like this little bit of like orange shading. On this you've got absolutely nothing, and it looks strange. And because this like post-it note kind of thing is the same color as sort of the rest of their body, it ends up looking a bit weird and a bit strange.
Seems to be
Even
like a
just like
conflict of interest here. Like it looks like you almost want the eyes to be seen, but
Mhm.
that just makes it extremely difficult to realize that this is meant to be a sticky note. It just sort of
so,
looks like you slapped a square onto them. So I decide either to make that. Ooh, all right, my pen's going.
yeah.
Either make it completely opaque, or just get rid of it, or move it to a different spot, like maybe slightly above their head, or just right there.
Mhm.
Or you can do some stuff like what I'm doing and just add like a little bit more of this stuff to it. And it's just like makes it clear that hey, this is coming in front and hiding things. And this sort of back main part of the hair have that kind of like show through a little bit, or like have that like explicitly come more close to the front, and then add this orange like shading.
Is it
that.
transparent?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Because if it is, it gets a bit weirder because we have a light source directly beside it. Like the eyeball's a light source too.
Yeah.
So if
Good
it's
point, good point.
transparent, then it's going to glow. And it's going to emit light from it.
Boom, boom, boom. All that weird stuff.
Yeah.
But this, like, the light source around here and it, like, shining onto everything, Looks good.
Oh, that blue one is wonderful.
This might be hidden. So it might be like that. Because this, I think this rump is kind of hiding most of that. Most of that light. But yeah, otherwise it looks pretty good.
Your characters are always so colorful.
I do love the colors used.
And every time I see them, I'm like, oh, not a plushie. That would be scary to make. These details. Like, Allie, how would you go about doing all those spots?
Paint probably at that point.
Embroidery?
No, you could probably do it with dye, or you just get a specially printed fabric if you can just have it printed on.
There.
The Minky's good anymore. It's good
Here?
at taking prints.
Around here, I would, specifically this line, I would kind of let that fade away a little bit, because I think that, well, from what I'm seeing anyway, you've got like this part is like kind of smooth around here. So I'm like drawing a bit of like a contour line over it. It's like something like that. So it's a little bit of like a smooth transition up there. So I'd kind of get rid of that blue line in this area specifically. But yeah, good horse. And good shading. You've been doing this like interesting kind of like shading stuff for a really long time. And yeah, it's coming together really nicely.
Wild character creation. Just,
Hell yeah.
I've never known someone with so many OCs. I think we really should submit him to the Guinness World Book of Records. Most pony
Yeah.
OCs.
I think we need to pay them like $2,000 or something to send someone out. So yep, LD, you pay that.
Is that all it takes? Because I mean,
Oh.
that sounds fun.
God.
Anyway, anyone else have any other questions? Anyone else have any other art? Because I believe that's our canvas for today. Yeah. There's just an all-out war going on.
Yeah, I think LD, I think you're being stomped into the ground down here in the bottom right.
That sounds about right. When I was, there was a back and forth earlier.
I joined after everything. I see.
It's just, listen, we just need fluffier horses. But no.
Being mean to me. Being mean to me.
All right. Seeing as no one else is throwing any other horses at us in this time, we're going to call it a day. Thank y'all for coming. We'll see you again next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah,